Hey guys, thanks for putting in another 5 or 10 minutes to have a listen to some of my rantings of a morning. Check out this beautiful place I'm at today. School's just gone back here where we are, and we're in the background there. Say last week it was packed out, whereas today on a Monday morning, school back, it's a place of great solitude and rest and quiet and stillness, which is something that I try and seek for myself on a daily basis in the midst of all the craziness of the mind and the rushing and the racing around that goes on. Just thinking a bit today about judgment and how much of a role that plays in our life. Myself and my wife Judy have spent hours talking about this of recent months, in particular how judgment seems to be so deeply within us. Like we're critiquing everything. We're looking and we're judging and we're discerning and we're passing judgment or critical analysis on each situation that we face. And you hear a lot of people saying, well, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with this, and our point of view becomes the main lens. Like that's like, because we see it a certain way, we feel with our mind, which sort of is very dualistic, it seems. It's very black or white, right or wrong. So for example, if I see it right, if I see something this way and I say, I don't agree with that, to me, in my mind, I'm often thinking that you're obviously totally wrong and I'm totally right. And this kind of mindset that's been set up in kind of Western civilization, if you like, is so prevalent, isn't it? We set up little cliques around our point of view, we join groups and we gather people around us that think like we do. We find it difficult, I think. I know I have, and I'm only really just coming to this realisation now. I'm 57. Fortunately for me, I've got quite a bit of time to think and to reflect, and I'm noticing just how insidious this view is of the world and how black and white my thinking has been up till recent times. And it's very dismissive, it's very selective, it's very lose-lose also. It merely sets up a loss-loss situation, basically, whereas I think as I'm coming to more terms with this, as I'm sort of looking deeper into it and feeling and sensing what's going on, I notice that there's more of a win-win situation. It's something I talk about with people quite a bit over recent years. It seems to come up, this conversation. Is there a possibility of a win-win situation where you and I can come together, have a chat, talk about our point of view, talk about our situation, and walk away both feeling that we've had a win? Not that I'm right and you're wrong, but that we've both had something valuable that we've had to offer to each other, and that we've walked away from that interaction better for the experience. Now, any of us that are on Facebook for any length of time, we notice that this is not the prevailing tide, My goodness, the judgment and the criticism that comes out of this particular medium is horrendous. The way people talk to each other, the way they slag each other off, the way they critique another's point of view. And, it's just so unhealthy. I see it now. It just doesn't bring us together. It doesn't unify. It doesn't call out a greater humility in us. But it seems to just, for me particularly, I notice it just, kind of locks me down. And so I'm trying to break free of that, and I wonder where you are with all of that. I wonder how you're going when it comes to judgment. I can see from my own point of view that I was pretty much raised on judgment from from mother's breast, basically. My mother was taught to be critical and was a very smart and intelligent woman. And of course, she was very critical of those around her. She moved to a new country, people who saw things differently than her. She couldn't grasp the fact that the Australian way of life was different than her English heritage, and so she sort of set up a us and them mentality. And I was brought up on that, so there was a sort of a judgment of the Aussie life type thing. And it was always a critique of everyone, and this is how no, we would never do it that way, that's so wrong, and la la. And of course you pick that up as you were a child. You pick that up and it becomes part of your culture. and you don't even realise. And so for me, criticism, and I'm quite intelligent, so I've been able to see sort of almost past, I guess, what people are saying and look into things, and I'm going, oh man, obviously they're so wrong, or whatever, I'm so right, and that makes me feel better about myself, makes me feel bigger or more important, or that type of thing. Whereas as I'm learning, as I'm going further on in the spiritual journey, I'm seeing that God is going, hang on man, like Christ humbled himself, came down and became obedient unto death, became one of us, humbled himself to be one amongst us, the one who knew everything, the one who created all of this, became humble, came down and was a servant amongst us in a sense, There's something about the humility of accepting another's point of view that is so difficult for us, so challenging, to understand that they see the world in a different way that we do, and that is totally okay. And in fact, it's a win-win, because if we can see from their point of view, maybe we can do things better. Maybe we can learn from them, they can learn from us. Maybe we can gather together and do things on a greater basis, larger projects. Maybe we can impact the world and see poverty shifted, climates changing. We can see, well, even around here, you can see how beautiful and clean this is. It's only been with people getting together over the years and understanding that it's important not to throw stuff away, agreeing, if you like, with the greater population, saying, well, I can't be just selfish and have my own point of view and just throw my stuff away, because that ruins it for everyone. The waterways are beautiful. Look at them. It's magnificent. Crystal clear. Not a can or bottle in sight. Nothing thrown away. People have woken up to the fact that it's important. It's important that we work together. It's important that we understand that others see things as more important than we do, and that's totally fine. We can learn from them, we can assist them, and maybe we can be part of their greater vision if that's what's called for. But to, I guess, put off or to dispel judgment as our first call. We've just been talking briefly in a group, one of the groups I'm part of, and the discussions come up around judgment, and one lady was saying something which I thought was very poignant, was that still, while the first thought is judgment, it's what we do with the second thought that counts. Like the first thing that might come across our mind is to judge, but what do we do with that now? Do we continue with that? Do we take that in and mull over it and meditate on it? Or do we cut that or prune that off, like John 15? We prune the branches off that aren't bearing fruit. I think you would agree with me that to judge and critique in this way is not necessarily healthy and not very fruitful. Therefore, is it possible that we can take that first thought captive, make it obedient to Christ, bring it into a place where it no longer has impact, and then just let it go? Let it be accepting of the situation. It is what it is, as someone was saying in a video that I heard this morning. It is what it is. It's okay. I don't need to fight it. I don't need to wrestle against it. I don't need to prove it right or wrong. In fact, I can just sit back and just allow it to be, and it's okay. It's okay. We've been set up, I think we've been taught a very combative mindset in churches that get us up and sort of, hey, hang on a minute, no, they're not like me, I'll go to another denomination, and 30,000 denominations later, we're still separating from each other over minor points of detail. In other words, we're seeing things black and white. Obviously we're black, so they're white, we're white, they're black. Dualistic, judgmental, critical thinking that is not helping us come together in the unity that Christ talked about. This is the love that I and the Father have. We are one. You are invited into this unity to be one of us. You are seated on the throne with Christ, in the throne room with Christ. You're seated with him in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. You are part of them, part of us. We're all one together. And somehow, if we understand that, maybe we can let go of some of these more judgmental and critical ways of looking at things and begin to, I guess, embrace the other's point of view, to become okay with the fact that they see differently, and in fact to rejoice and go, yes, awesome that there's another point of view here. Someone else is seeing something that I'm not, and it's going to help me, and it's going to help them, and it's going to help others if we can embrace and maybe take on some of that. And if you like, throw the bones out, take the meat and throw the bones out, but at least be willing to engage, or at least, at the very least, just to let it flow past you. Much like this river here is flowing past me now. If we don't agree with something, just let it flow past. It's not up to you to critique it or stop it or try and halt it in its tracks, but just to recognise that let it flow. Go with the flow. Flow with the river of God. Enjoy your day. Thanks for listening. If you enjoying these videos, please, like and subscribe to them, because I'm doing pretty much a video every day and really enjoying the interaction around them with people. I would love for it to get out a little bit further and to get to meet some new guys. So if you want to subscribe and like or post on below, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.